Hi, today we're looking into a DeFi project, a multi-chain DEX called Pond0X, which since launched last year has made over $800 million in trading volume. And with the front figure beefing with giants like Hayden Adams, the founder of Uniswap, and is in a legal battle with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Pond0X is not just aiming to be a multi-chain DEX aggregator for all chains, but a DeFi ecosystem with multiple yield farming strategies for the users to make some extra money on their crypto. The catchphrase is Crypto 2.0, deliver value to the users. I have personally been following the project since launch and I am invested, but I'm gonna do this with as little bias as possible. Let's start off with the founder of the project, the sometimes controversial and loud guy JeremyCahen, also known as Pond0X on X. Prior to this project, he made the NFT marketplace Not Larva Labs and the NFT copycat collection RR Bored Ape Yacht Club together with Ryder Rips, which they both were sued for by the original Bored Ape Yacht Club. The collection was made to challenge the NFT market and the absurdity that these ape JPEGs at the time cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. His ETH Tipjar has also gotten a lot of attention after a random person bought the yougetnothing.eth ENS address to the Tipjar, where people have sent millions of dollars to get nothing.
It's gone. You get nothing.
For me, this pauly guy was unknown until the launch of Pepe on ETH, which he called on the day of launch, and was hosting hype spaces and talking about the corruption existing in crypto. Despite the controversies, pauly has a significant following on social media, where he keeps fighting the VCs and the influencers and anyone in position of power in this space that he deems to be in the wrong and taking advantage of the little guy. So what is Pond0X and what is the vision? pauly compares the current crypto landscape with a slaughterhouse, a VC-ridden space where newcomers get scared of entering crypto because of scammers, drainers, centralization, high fees, and terrible infrastructure. As I mentioned before, the vision that pauly calls Crypto 2.0 is to give back as much as possible to the users and take back the crypto space from the VC-backed projects, which do anything they can to drain as much value as possible from everyone. The platform as it looks today is a multi-chain DEX aggregator, meaning that you can swap multiple blockchains. And the platform will find the cheapest liquidity pool for your swap, searching multiple DEXs, and executes the swap for you, making DeFi as user-friendly as possible. The fees from the swaps made on Ethereum's blockchain, that was the first chain on Pond0X, is pooled to a treasury, where they are still stored. The users are waiting for these fees to be distributed as rewards to active participants in a manner that is unknown at this point. Solana went live after Ethereum on Pond0X, but with no swap fees. But people can add tokens to a pot to promote their own tokens, which are then being distributed through a lottery system to the users who swapped the token. And you can also now buy luck. How now that works. They have also integrated Pump.fun, which is a platform for people to cheap and easy create their own Solana tokens. But the best way to understand and see what you can do on pondx.com is to visit the website and see for yourself and try it out. The rewards are also part of the marketing of the platform. If you deliver wins to the users will want to flex on social media, which will bring in new users to the platform that wants to take part of these rewards. With that said, how did it all get started? Let's talk about the first mining event, the so-called OG mining event. This was the summer of 2023, after the Pepe hype and after Pauly announced that he would launch a token. So I kept my notifications on for Pauly's X account for this entire summer, ready to throw some ETH on this thing. I have had more relaxing summers in my life. Myself and 2 friends were sleeping in shifts, so at least one of us would be awake at launch. And eventually it was announced, mining is open. And I had to run into a coffee shop, and after some retries, I got in. What happened short after was quite a roller coaster. First, me and my 2 friends all got different tokens. And then people started sharing an image of a chart that quickly went to 0. Everyone was fudding like crazy. And here you can see us believing we got scammed 7 beers in.
Yeah. Fuck Pauly.
Let's fucking go!
But soon after, the launch tokens we received were drained from our wallets. And it started to feel a little better. Because why drain a launch token if it is a scam? And Pauly has earlier said that the blockchain is a stage. And the thought that this all was theatrics started to grow. Later we all received a different token called Pondcoin, also known as PNDC. And eventually it was launched and trading began. And it reached over 100 million in market cap within almost 24 hours. The purpose of the token hadn't been revealed at this point. But as soon as the DEX aggregator was launched, it was evident that this was going to be something more than just a meme token that previously people had assumed. The vibe of the community was off to a good start. People were hosting spaces around the clock on X, especially the user MOOX. Pauly was also hosting a lot of spaces, hyping the community, sharing his insights in the crypto industry, and also the vision of the DEX going forward. It didn't take long for the community to grow large, and people were creating memes, songs, and videos on YouTube. There was also a Doom dashboard created by the user Mogi to keep track of trading volume, holder count, and much more. And there is a link to the dashboard in the description. Meanwhile, the community was thriving. Pond was under attack. MetaMask flagged Pond. The links to the websites were reported on X, and there were also mass reports on community members. But this eventually passed. While recording this, all Pauly related X accounts has been suspended, including the Pond0X, jeremycahen, pondx, porkcoineth, and even the Not Larva Labs account. So, welcome to a new attack.
Guys, they took down the Twitter account. They took down the Twitter account. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We needed that Twitter account. You think that everything's gonna be okay, guys? What do you think? Are we gonna make it?
Now that the DEX had been launched, it was announced that mining will return. In the mining event, you put in ETH to mint new PNDC, so the supply of PNDC increased. When the mining event occurred, you could see on the side a vial filling up. It was being filled in the pace with new PNDC being mined, and when the vial reached 100%, spawning opened.
At the Pond, scientists have been working overtime on a revolutionary breakthrough called spawning that will leave the scientific community and crypto influencers in disbelief. No one knows exactly what spawning means, but society can't help but speculate on its purpose and inevitable arrival.
That meant you put in PNDC to get Pepe tokens. People got between 2 and 10x more Pepe than the value of the PNDC they put in. But the possibility to spawn quickly stopped and the vial restarted from 0. And people went crazy and started to sell their PNDC for ETH to use that ETH to mine more PNDC for the possibility to spawn Pepe, which created an enormous sell pressure on PNDC, and the price dropped almost 60% during this mining event. The sentiment in the community were mixed. Some people felt ecstatic, and some just felt that their bags have lost a huge part of their value. Then 4 days later, a second round was opened, this time with different rules. You could only spawn Pepe with PNDC mined in this current event, so the spawn returns got smaller. But also this mining event created the same effect as the previous one, where people were selling their PNDC to mine more PNDC, and the price dropped hard again. When making this video, there has been no more spawning events or mining events, even though mining is expected to return, but maybe with different rules. But that we have to wait and see. And now, the launch of Pondwater. The next chapter of the PondX saga was the launch of Pondwater, meaning you lock up your PNDC on Pondx for a certain amount of time and receiving ETH in payouts. It's supposed to be some sort of automatic or not automatic yield farming using what they call the flywheel. Once this was launched in January of 2024, around 70% of all PNDC was locked up in Pondwater, and the community seemed happy, receiving this weekly payout in ETH. But the sentiment quickly changed when already the second payout was delayed, and the gas fees to cash out was sky high. The second payout later came, but it was also the last one this far. After some time and poor communication from the team, the Pondwater saga was halted and all the PNDC was unlocked. The team is now focusing on launching their own layer 2 on top of Ethereum or a layer 1 called MAGMA to use their own infrastructure, avoiding to use so much money on gas fees. The launch of this is expected in the summer of 2024, and Pondwater are expected to be up and running once this has been shipped. MAGMA is currently live on the testnet Sepolia. So what was Pepes' part in this ecosystem? PNDC is the platform token and maybe in the future also the governance token of the Pond project. And PNDC and Pepe was supposed to live in some sort of symbiosis in the Pondx ecosystem. After many issues with the dev team behind Pepe, due to poor leadership, illegal activities and a public beef with pauly, it was announced that Pondx would release their own token for the ecosystem, a fork of Pepe, later known as Pepe Fork or PORK. The PORK token was officially announced in late January of 2024, and it garnered a lot of attention in the Pondx community. The switch to PORK was seen as a transformative phase in the trajectory of both tokens, offering both a fresh start and an early entry for those who missed out on Pepe. The new token focuses on similar memetics, but from the perspective of the community of the Pondx platform. Pork flipped Pepe in market cap within 62 hours, and many early investors made significant gains. But it is worth mentioning that Pepe was at the time below $400 million in market cap. At the time of creating this episode, Pepe is in the multiple billions of dollars in market cap, while Pork is under 100 million, after it saw a larger correction after it flipped Pepe, and Pepe has since gone on a monstrous run. Now, let's talk about Matt Furie, the creator of the comic Boys Club, where Pepe is one of the main characters. In August of 2023, the Pond project donated $1 million worth of Pepe to Matt Furie. A nice gesture indeed, that was ironically followed by the dev team behind Pepe dumping tokens and crushing the price, making the donation worth around $600,000 by the time Matt sold. After switching from using Pepe to Pork, this generous gesture was repeated, and Matt Furie received another $1 million, but in Pork this time, that he also cashed out. Now we're gonna talk about what's known in the community as pork claims. After the switch to Pork, people who had interacted with Pondex was able to claim Pork tokens directly to their wallet. And how much people could claim differed a lot depending on unknown factors. But there were two different claim occasions, where people received up to 1.4 billion pork per claim, which were worth around $575 at the time at the first claim, and around $480 at the time of the second claim. So people could get up to $1,000 from these two claims, and this guy is one of them. Now let's talk some criticism of the project. With a front figure like Pauly, of course you get a lot of enemies. So the critique hasn't been absent. There have been multiple articles covering the controversial launch and the claims of volume on the platform. But yet I haven't seen anything that holds any truth in these articles. The community mostly follow everything that Pauly does, and at times it feels a bit culty. But there has been some critique brought up by some users that have been met with poor communication from the project. People have been frustrated by not being allowed to ask any questions about the project in Pauly spaces and not receiving any information about the Pondwater streams or about the unlocking of PNDC tokens that went pretty much unaddressed by the project. The failures of the mining and spawning events also went by pretty much unaddressed. There were also users who had issues even spawning Pepe on the site, which would, according to Pauly, be resolved by simply clicking harder, which many of these degens have issues with due to their weak gamer hands.
Lisa, no! Your hands are too weak!
Now let's end this with some reflection. In my personal opinion, the journey of Pondex has been quite a roller coaster. But right now it feels a bit stagnant, with progress taking a bit longer than expected. The wait for significant updates, especially the launch of MAGMA to address the infrastructure issues, is frustrating, and people are tired of waiting. And the community is falling apart a little, moving their attention away from Pondex to other projects. But when MAGMA launches and Pondwater is back on, they will be back. And a user-friendly DEX that spans over multiple blockchains is exactly what the crypto space needs. The idea of swap rewards, where the majority of the fees goes back to the users, is a compelling and a good marketing strategy which could gain some traction. And if this becomes the all-in-one DeFi platform that people are hoping for, It would be great for the mass adoption of crypto. There are also the concept of multipliers when swapping different tokens on the DEX, which we don't know the exact function of, but it could influence future swap rewards or airdrops. This is just speculations. Maybe there is a point system working behind the scenes, tracking all your activity on the platform that determines the future airdrops. This is also just speculation, and we will just have to wait and see. If you think I missed something important, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my crypto Tipjar. And I want to end this with a special thanks to Matt Furie for his fantastic creations, and a special thanks to the great contributors of this community. I'm sure I missed people who deserves to be on this list, but this goes out to the whole community. This community used to be the greatest community in crypto. So, let's make this community great again. Thank you for watching.